plain or simple. Fog scent. Plain और simple white shirt को बना दे special और fashionable. Fog scent. New fashion wear for men.
Good morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. The top headlines. It's a weak start to trade on expiry day, and the Nifty trades near 10,350. All sectoral indices, barring IT, trade with losses. In Kerala, healthcare and Bata India are some of the top F&O gainers, and with addition of close to 20% in open interest. And the Nifty will undergo its semi-annual rebalancing on April 2nd. Grasim, Titan and Bajaj Finserv will be a part of the new inclusions, while Aurobindo, Ambuja as well as Bosch will make an exit. And the Indian rupee weakens past the 65 per to the dollar mark, and this is for the first time since November 2017. The bond yields continue to face pressure for the fifth day in a row.
All right, those are the top headlines at this hour, but clearly it's not turning out to be a great start. In fact, it's a weak start to the expiry day. And remember, February series has been a weak series. Because of that, we've seen on YTD basis as well, our benchmark indices now are giving us negative returns. So as we speak, 10,353 on Nifty. Let's just pull up the rollovers. They've been below average. In fact, if you compare the rollovers to last 3 months, for both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, rollovers have been below average. So as of now, for Nifty, it stands at 41%. The Bank Nifty rollovers will also come up on your screen. And for the March series, the open interest for Nifty is up nearly 12%. 37% rollover for Bank Nifty. Let's just pull up the India VIX, though it has cooled off in today's trade. But just want to remind our viewers, volatility has been a key concern in February series. In fact, during the series, we've seen India VIX inching to levels of almost 19.3 to 19.4. Let's see how that pans out in the March series. But in terms of how the series has been so far, let's just pull up the data. For the February series, Nifty is down nearly 6.5%. Underperformance has been seen from the banking stocks. Bank Nifty is down nearly 9.5%. The PSU banking space, remember, that's been the pain point for this series. In fact, the losses that you're seeing on your screen of 16%, majority of them have come in the last week because of the scam that was unearthed regarding Nirav Modi. Nifty mid-cap, the broader markets also took a beating, so that was also down nearly 9.5%. Let's quickly tell you what's happening on the option side. The picture is not looking that great, because if you look at the put writing, in the last 2 sessions, you had the 10,300 put, which was seeing aggressive writing. So today that has shifted to 10,250. What is that telling you? The base for this market is shifting lower and lower. Even in the call side, there is aggressive writing that has been seen for 10,350 as well as the 10,400 strike. What's the range that you can expect for today, for the expiry day? Watch out for 10,266. That's a recent low that Nifty had seen on February 6. So that remains the first support for this market, but it looks like the range will be somewhere between 10,275 to maximum upside of about nearly 10,400. And who has been on the right side on trade for this series? We've been highlighting that for you. They are the FIs. They've been consistently selling in the cash market, creating fresh short positions on the futures and options market because they are net short on index futures, and also they've been buying more of puts and writing more of calls.
Right. Honorable, in this expiry day, let's take a look at all the stocks which are still looking at an increase in open interest, given especially that it is expiry right now. So, well, we have substantial jumps in something like Dabur, NIT Tech, Mindtree, and these numbers are looking quite high. And this is only the February future, so we'll keep an eye on these ones, and Biocon, Nalco among the others. In terms of decline in open interest, we have several other stocks like ACC, Federal Bank, Ambuja Cement, of course, which moves out of the Nifty, Reliance Communication and Berger Paints also looking at substantial amount of unwinding. Again, I'm going to keep an eye on a lot of these mid-cap IT stocks underneath because they have been buzzing recently.
Okay, so that's about the setup. But before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, do call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on our social media platform, Twitter, Facebook with AskPQ hashtag. Let's welcome our F&O experts for the day then. Gaurav Bissa of LKP Securities and Ashish Chaturmohta of Sanctum Wealth Management are here to give their views on the expiry day. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen, and appreciate you joining us today on Bloomberg Quinn. Ashish, let me come to you first. IT has been the strength for the February series, but if I look at the absolute losses for Nifty, which is somewhere about 700 points, it's turned out to be the worst series that one has seen since 2008, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So good morning, and that was quite expected, and we have been mentioning since last couple of weeks that markets are going to remain very, very volatile. The day it increased the margins, and the kind of movement we were witnessing in the yield curve, let it be our own GSEC, or it can be US 10-year GSEC, which moved from almost 2.45 to almost 2.93 now, and USD INR sustaining above 64 levels. That was clearly a macro level risk which we were witnessing, and that's the reason why FIs have been very, very negative in the market, despite lot of DI's participation was in a positive territory, but despite that we are not been able to sustain this this move. And I think again we are at a very, very crucial level, although markets have taken some support around 10,300 on a consistent basis for last couple of trading sessions, but the overall breadth of the market is not positive. It's hardly few stocks and sectors which is contributing to this this sustenance of Nifty about 10,300 mark. I think maybe on expiry basis we are going to see levels around this flat towards 10,330 to 10,360, but broadly speaking we are in a broad range of 10,300 500, and once we see a clear decisive move beyond this range, you are going to see at least 300 to 400 points volatility in the market. So in case if we break 10,300, I see a strong possibility of Nifty breaking psychological mark of 10,000 and testing somewhere around 9,900. I'll be positive only if Nifty breaks 10,500 on a closing basis. Till then, I think one need to be a little cautious in the markets.
Right. Good morning, Gaurav, to you as well. Are you also approaching the benchmarks with caution?
Good morning. Well, yes, if you look at the kind of trade we are seeing, there is good riding in options, in calls side and the put side as well. For Bank Nifty as well, there has been a good support at 24,750, 800 zone. On the higher end, 25,100, 150 is acting as a strong deterrent for the market. So as long as Nifty trades in a range, I don't think one should anticipate. 10,300 is a strong support. If you look at concentration, now that's the only possibility. From 330, 340 you can buy with a 40-point stop loss. On the upside, targets of 440, 430 can be seen. Overall it's going to be range bound move, and I would be even selective as far as stocks are concerned, because a lot of stocks are also seeing volatility. Look for the stocks that are seeing some sort of bounce back from the strong support zones. The breakouts are seeing a failure. One has to be a little bit careful and cautious as to how to trade in coming days.
Okay, so stay cautious is the advice coming in from both our experts, but it is the expiry day and traders love to take positions on this day. So let's shift our focus to the options corner and check what sort of option strategies our experts are deploying in today's session. Ashish, your call on 10,400 put a few days back has worked beautifully. Any specific strategy that you have on the index for today?
No, index I'll wait, Navneet, because clearly when there was a trend we had come out with this put option, and now I think we are in a range. Until we don't see a decisive move about this range or below this important support level of 10,300, it's going to sideways. And if you make a view, and then if suppose the range gets breakout, it's very difficult to take that U-turn. So I'll wait for a clarity, and that's missing in the market. I think broadly, if I have to take a trade on an expiry basis, creating a short straddle or a short strangle makes a little sense, because we see a strong possibility of Nifty trading in a range between 10,300 to 10,400 on this expiry.
Right. Gaurav, once again, if you could take us through, your call on the Nifty Bank and the stop losses and the target that you're looking at when it comes to employing options there.
Well, the recommendation that I have today is only for the current expiry. I expect a small bounce coming in Bank Nifty. We have seen a lot of writing already happening. If you look at 25,000 call option, people are now being very aggressive at those at a strike level, and we have seen that any small bounce towards say 24,929.30 can result in some sort of panic in 25,000 call option that can see good amount of covering. One can have a stop loss of 5 rupees or 7 rupees, play for types of 50 to 60 rupees for the 25,000 call option of current expiry.
Okay, that's the option strategy from Gaurav on Bank Nifty. But let's also talk about the buzzing stock futures in today's session. And well, if you look at the February series, your top loser in terms of F&O Securities has been PC Jewelers. Pull up that counter, it's weak even on the expiry day. One would have thought that there could be some bit of short covering that could come about today, but actually that's not been the case because the stock is still trading with cuts of nearly 3%. I guess it's fallen nearly 40 to 42% now for this series, which started on January 25th. Gaurav, I'll come back to you. Do you expect any sort of short covering rally in PC Jewelers, let's say in the second half of the day, considering it has seen cuts of nearly 40% now for the series?
Well, for one, I would not like to have any trade on PC Jewelers. It's been quite volatile. It's not following any levels of data for that matter. We have seen that at some point in time it jumps from 350 to 380, 390. Towards the 340 or below. So it's just trading below 340. If you see a jump towards 340 or if it sustains 340, we can see some short covering in the second half of the day. But that would be only a mild blip that we can talk about. I would not be having a 3-4 day kind of view.
All right, avoid trading PC Jeweler. That's the word coming in from Gaurav. But the other stock which has been quite active in recent few sessions is Biocon. It's up 3% again right now. And let's take a look at the Biocon futures and see where they're trading at. Currently at around just short of 600. Its spot is up nearly 3.3%. Its February open interest has surged by as much as 21% right now. So there are intraday positions being taking place as far as February is concerned. March also seeing a surge of nearly 7%. And rollovers, of course, standing at 67%. Ashish, what would you do with Biocon right now, and what levels would you keep in mind?
So I think it has seen a very strong recovery, and yesterday there were a lot of short build up in the morning because of few observations, and that's where a lot of short traders have got stuck. In fact, the kind of position build up we are witnessing, I'll not be surprised to see this stock crossing its previous all time high, which is around 650, 660 zone. So yes, within the within the pharma names, Biocon looks very, very interesting, and now today's low, which is around 576, should continue to act as a very, very strong support. So keep that as a stop loss, and I think a strong possibility towards 640, 650 looks very high in Biocon.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Biocon, but there are a lot of F&O Securities which are seeing some action today. Sun TV, that's been a very volatile counter for this week at least. I remember for the week, Sun TV on Monday saw cuts of nearly 4%. Then there was some recovery on Tuesday, Wednesday. But once again, today the stocks come under pressure, which is trading with cuts of 2.5%. And February futures, as of now, have seen 10% increase. Obviously, March futures, you'll see the rollovers taking place. 65% rollover on Sun TV. Gaurav, on the charts, how is Sun TV looking around the levels of 900, because it's been quite volatile for the week?
It's been quite volatile, and I would not be too keen in buying it. There is a significant
Okay, I think there's some problem with Gaurav's audio. We'll touch base with him. But Ashish, I'll come to you in the same stock, Sun TV on the charts. So do you see any sort of trend forming, because it's been very volatile?
No, I think it has, although seen some profit booking since 1100 odd levels, and now near a very strong support zone, which is around 880, 875 zone. So I think there can be some dip, but around 880, 890 you might see some support coming into the stock. So I think it's in a no trade zone. Better to stay away from any long or short in this stock.
All right, that's the view on Sun TV. Let's take a look at what BPCL is doing right now, and see whether or not there is a very big move. When it comes to BPCL, of course, on a fundamental basis, we do understand it's looking to raise about $200 million for a project in Abu Dhabi. It's actually down by as much as 4.5% right now. Roller was standing at around 48%, and While the February open interest is looking at a little bit of declines, March open interest has seen some increase in OI. That means that there are shorts coming in there. Again, along with BPCL, if we can address what is happening with HPCL as well and take a look at what HPCL is doing. Well, similarly, the cuts are not as deep as BPCL, but it's still down by as much as 1.5%. And again, not too much to speak for when it comes to changes in open interest, largely flat. Rollovers, of course, at a slightly higher level is compared to BPCL. Ashish, coming down to you, in either of these stocks, what would you prefer and what looks like a better opportunity for a short or a long?
So I think clearly, if you look at BPCL is in a short, positions have been built up quite aggressively, and it's in a clear short-term weakness trend. So I see a strong possibility of BPCL testing somewhere around 400 to 395 zone. So keeping that in mind, BPCL is a good shot, but not at these levels. I'll wait for some recovery towards maybe 434, 435, ideally to offer a good risk reward. On upside, 450 should be kept as a stop loss, and for that reason only I'm saying that use rallies to short BPCL somewhere around 435 odd zone rather than creating a short at these levels.
Right.
Okay, and the strength actually continues for the IT pack. The Nifty IT is the sole sectoral gainer, so to say, for the day. Nifty IT is trading with gains of 0.7%. In fact, the top gainer in Nifty is also HCL Technologies, and stocks like Mindtree, remember that was up in yesterday's session. Mindtree has seen another 2% gain coming about in today's trade. Infi is also trading in the green, and remember TCS, Infosys, both these stocks are your heavyweights on Nifty, so that's actually giving some bit of cushion to the market, which has been weak so far. Gaurav, I'll come back to you. Hope the line is fine now. If one were to take any sort of position, a fresh position, let's say in the IT pack, should it be on the index Nifty IT, or would you go for an individual stock?
I would go for the individual names. There are certain names that are looking quite robust, and among the larger ones, stocks like Infosys are looking quite strong. If it sustains 1150, I would not be surprised if it again touches the level of 1180. On the medium term or mid cap names, something like Mindtree, even at these levels, are looking quite robust. With the stop loss of 730, one can buy for 755, 760 kind of levels for next 2 days.
Okay, so well, Mindtree is something that looks good for Gaurav, but let's go across and start taking some queries from our viewers. And some of them have written to us on social media. The first query comes from Pratik Parab, who has written to us on Twitter, and he wants to know whether or not he can roll over his positions in Mindtree. He's long in the February futures at 705. We've just had Gaurav address Mindtree right now. Ashish, so then I'll come to you and take this query to you. He's long at 705. The underlying is currently trading at 739. Yep. Keep his position, roll over, and in that case, what trailing stop losses can he keep?
We have a buy call on Mindtree today in our trading bet, and I think stock has seen 18% open interest addition in today's trading day, and we have seen a significant rollovers in most of the IT basket, and particularly in the mid cap IT names. So I see a very strong possibility of Mindtree crossing its previous all-time high, which is somewhere around 780, 785 zone. So keeping that in mind, I think he should continue trading long in the stock. 720 should be ideally be the trailing stop loss for carrying these positions into the next series, and on upside 765, 770 could be a short-term target in next 3 to 4 trading sessions in Mindtree.
Okay, so a positive view on Mindtree. Pratik, we hope that your question is answered. Let's move on and take some more queries, and this one comes from Chetan Dubey. He wants to know whether he can cover his shots in Motherson Sumi or he should wait till the end of the day. Gaurav, Motherson Sumi has been weak for the February series. In fact, it's seen cuts of nearly 16%. Today as well, the stock's down nearly 1%. And let's not forget the correction that one saw for Motherson Sumi came in posting after it posted its Q3 numbers. What would you advise him to do? Should he book profits or he should wait till the end of the day?
I think it would be prudent to book profits for the reason that 305, 306 is acting as immediate support for the name, and there has been significant shorts already. And towards the end of trading session, there can be some positive surplus that we can see in the name. There can be some sort of short covering coming in. If it crosses 312, I would not be surprised at touching levels of 318 today itself. So it is better that one books the profit at this point in time.
Gaurav, for those who are in Motherson Sumi, as a long-term bet, say, for example, guys who have bought Motherson Sumi in the cash markets at 150, 200 rupees, maybe 250 rupees as well, and, reasonably large sums, what would you advise them to do right now? Do you think they could actually sell calls or sell, futures in order to hedge their position?
I would still wait for that. If it reaches 300, then yes, one can hedge by selling the futures. As long as it is trading above 300, there is a possibility that we may see a bounce back coming in. It might not touch the previous high levels of 380 that easily, but overall we can see some sort of relief coming in. A short-term base formation can be seen. It would be premature to talk about the base formation in the name, which has fallen at 15-20%. But overall, it looks that if sustains 300, there is a possibility it may again test towards the level of 330, 335 in next few weeks. So I would keep a stop loss of 300 or rather a level of 300. If that is broken, then you can hedge it by selling futures.
Okay, fair enough, Gaurav. Well, we'll move across to the next query, and that one comes from Preeti Sonkar. She wants to know whether or not she can initiate long positions in Titan. Okay, let's take a look at what Titan is currently doing at. Well, no, not too much change when it comes to its underlying. At 827, rollover standing at 65% right now, and we're looking at 9 to 10% increase in both February and March open interest futures. Ashish, what can she do with Titan now?
So, if this question would have been for a delivery call or for next 3 months, I would have gone and taken a long position in Titan.
Right.
But if it's a trading position which is into F&O segment where you are dealing with leverage,
right,
ideally it makes a lot of sense to wait for short term, because there are a lot of uncertainties with regards to that entire space, and that can keep volatility in action in most of these names.
Right.
So there can be a possibility that Titan can see a dip towards 790, and then it can see a jump towards 900 odd levels. So if you're asking for 3 months, I have a view that it can cross 900, 950. But whether to buy it in a shorter term, I'm still in a wait and watch approach.
Right.
Well, not to forget, Titan will be included in Nifty from April 2nd alongside Bajaj Finserv as well as Grasim. So that was the positive news, and hence the gap up opening. But looks like it did succumb to the selling pressure because the markets have been trading weak. We've got some queries coming in on YouTube. Kushal Salvi writes to us. He wants views on Just Dial futures. Well, Just Dial has also been one of the weak counters of February series. Let's just pull up Just Dial and see what's that doing. Some bit of positive tick, trading with gains of over 1%. The March open interest is up nearly 20%. Ashish, I'll come to you. Our viewer has not taken any position, but maybe he wants to know for the March series, considering the kind of fall that one has seen in the February series, can there be some sort of pullback in Just Dial?
So there can be a pullback towards 475, 480, but this pullback should be for traders who are holding on to the position to reduce their exposure at a higher level. But no fresh long, I would like to recommend at current levels, because, again, it's a very, as you rightly mentioned, these are the stocks where we have seen a significant, selling pressure when this entire episode of, most of these stocks like Vakrangi and PC Jewellers started happening. So I think I'll wait for a clarity to come for fresh traders, but those holding long positions, they should keep 435 as a stop loss and ride this. Maybe 470, 475 could be an ideal exit in Just Dial.
All right, so 435 as a stop loss and a possible target of around 470, 475. That's the view coming in from Ashish. Let's go across to our experts then and take what their calls for the day are. Gaurav, you have a long call on Coal India and a short on Maruti, which is very interesting to me because I really don't remember the last time someone initiated a short on Maruti. Can you please take us through your calls?
Coal India has been seeing consistent long positions, and it's been trading within a range of 305, 310. If it crosses 310, there will be a technical breakout also on daily charts, and the kind of portion that we're seeing getting built, and it has been one of the more stable names. There was a lot of writing also seen in 310 call option. So 310 becomes of paramount importance. One can buy about 310, stop loss of 305 on the upside, targets of 320. Maruti has been taking good support at 8,700, 8,750. Once it reaches those levels, I expect some aggressive short positions getting built in the name, and it can head towards the level of 8,500, 8,400 also. For
Okay. There seems to be some audio problem again with Gaurav's line. I'll just repeat his calls. He has a long call on Coal India futures, and I'm presuming these are for March. Target is 320, stop loss 305. His other call is going short on Maruti futures, target 8550 and stop loss of 8780. Ashish, I'll come to you. You've got two long calls on the ID stocks and one short call on Repco.
Yeah, so Mindtree we have already discussed, looks good for 770 on upside. 722 should be kept as a trading stop loss. KPIT is one stock we have been recommending for a while, and again it has formed a very strong base somewhere around 198, 197 zone. So keeping that in mind, I think one can initiate a long in KPIT with a stop below 200 levels. On upside, 213 could be the short-term target in KPIT Technologies. Repco Homes, we have been witnessing this as a short idea. I think clear breakdown on weekly, monthly charts, a strong buildup of short positions and strong rollovers of these positions to the next series. I think stock can fall below 490, 480 zone. So this could be a good shot in current, uncertain environment. Keep a stop around 540 levels, and on the downside, 480 could be the immediate target in Repco Homes.
All right, so those are some of those views coming in from Ashish. We have yet another query on YouTube, and this one comes from Anup Sahu. This, I believe, is a query on the cash markets, but it is an F&O stock, so we'll address it anyway. So Anup has about 1,100 shares of Coal India at around 320. And Anup, I'd like to tell you that Gaurav has a long of on Coal India, but his target is 320 from current levels, and his stop loss is around 305. So I reckon those are some of the levels that you can keep an eye on with respect to your positions in the cash market. But with that, we've run out of time. So I'd like to thank both our experts, Ashish and Gaurav, for taking us through their queries and our queries and, of course, their views. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But don't go anywhere. Neeraj Shah will be in conversation with Kenneth Andrade of Old Bridge Capital. So stay tuned in for that conversation.